The trial captivating a nation.
Jennifer McCabe spent longer than anticipated on the stand, sharing what she says Karen Read said as first responders were trying to save John O'Keefe.
Your client said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him.
She repeated, I hit him, I hit him.
She's testifying to whether or not it was a direct statement, I hit him, versus a question, did I hit him?
It's always inconsistent. Don't take anyone's word for it.
And no more nonsense. Let's just try this case.
NBC 10 News has the latest on the retrial of Karen Read.
Hi, everybody. I'm Gene Valicenti. This is our daily recap of the retrial and the court action of Karen Read. Court is over. Karen and her father had something to say outside. Before we go to that, let me bring in NBC 10's Katie Benoit, who's been covering the trial for us. Katie, she's going to refer to a May 8th report that she's claiming her side got late. This is contemporary. This is this month. Just set up that report. What doesn't she like about the time she received the report? And what's the complaint about? And then her father's going to talk about the principal witness today, Shannon Burgess, who was really ripped apart by the defense for his lack of credentials, trumping up his resume, and apparently working on his bachelor's degree for 17 years. This is almost comical today. So go ahead, take the report first and set up what the father's going to complain about with Shannon Burgess.
Changes the time that the alleged collision occurred. So the defense last week had asked, with this new report coming just a few weeks ago, they were asking for the trial to be delayed a few days so they could prepare their experts and do some more work, but the judge denied that. So they were a bit upset. They also wanted a questioning without the jury present of this witness, trying to figure out why this report came so late. There was a January report, but then there was a new report in May as well. So that's where some of the questioning was leading today about why this report was so late.
Right. What's in the report? What's in the report? What's the subject of the report?
Sure. So it's Karen Read's Lexus data from her SUV. And the data is a backup event. And that is when the prosecution alleges the collision occurred. So it changes the timeline of when the collision occurred. So the numbers, the timing is a little bit different than when the trial first started. So the defense is not happy about that, halfway through the trial. This the report.
Like many vehicles, her Lexus has sort of a black box similar to what an airplane has. It records back up, forward, sudden stops, things like that. All right, and then her father's going to complain about the witness call today to talk about that report and other things. He is Shannon Burgess. He's alleged to be an IT specialist who can mine data, but it turns out that the defense really ripped him apart. His resume's trumped up. He's been working on his bachelor's degree for 17 years. It's almost comical. So let's hear Karen complaining about the report and then her father complaining about the witness talking about the report. Go ahead.
Is that Attorney Brennan represented to this court and to us just last week that he was surprised to get a report on May 8th that was only shared with us on May 11th. And now we find out from this witness that Attorney Brennan knew this report was coming the whole time. That's the definition of an ambush. That's what just happened.
What do you think of his?
Yeah, what do you think of his timeline?
What about the conclusion he came to? Anything on his credentials at all?
Yeah, it's called fraudulent. It's fraudulent. It's a lie.
Will you be able to challenge his conclusion?
Yes. Do you think the data was fudged? You'll hear more about the data. Our case hasn't started.
You'll be able to show that the phone was locked after the backup event? After the trigger event?
Oh, absolutely. It's already been shown by their witness, by Ian Whiffen.
You certainly don't misrepresent your academic credentials, particularly when you're an expert. I'll start with that. And I don't know where to go from there. It's just what this state is doing is persecution of Karen Read, and this collection of actors, witnesses, is just disgraceful. Disgraceful. I'm going to call upon Michael Morrissey to stop this charade. Do the honorable thing, because of what we've seen in this courtroom over the last 4+ weeks now. This is an expert witness today. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you. Yep.
Well, they made it easy for the defense today. I don't think anybody did their homework in vetting who this person was. All right, let's go to this Shannon Burgess. He's going to talk first about variances in the clocks. When did these clocks record what they believe to have recorded? There's a cell phone clock and there's a clock in the car. Let's listen to what Shannon Burgess has to say about clocks.
Indicates that a three-point turn occurred between 12:23:59 and 12:24:07. So since we've got that shared event between the two devices, We can reconcile any type of clock variance. So adjusting the Lexus clock to the iPhone clock, we can calculate that clock variance.
Boy, all right, let's make this simple. The Lexus, its black box is recording K turns, sudden stops. It's got one clock, and then the cell phone belongs to John O'Keefe. Is that right, Katie? And that cell phone clock is in the same area of time, but a few seconds apart. Go ahead and talk about that, the significance of matching the two up, the car and the iPhone.
Sure. So they used iPhone data and data from the Lexus to match up the clock. So this was a 3-point turn that was taken before the couple allegedly arrived at 34 Fairview. So using Waze data from GPS and then using data from the Lexus, they were able to match up the clock. So a little bit complicated, but it's not that complicated when you break it down. It's just getting those on the same time frame, so they're showing the same time.
Yeah. So his iPhone shows sort of a sudden stop. iPhones record your gait, your walking. Oh, he stopped, and the vehicle black box almost the same time. What was the discrepancy between the two? Or did they get in the matchup exactly?
So the time frame that the expert gave is also within that time frame. Another expert testified that John O'Keefe's phone was locked for the last time. So when you press the side button on your phone, you lock it. So It was locked. And within that time frame is allegedly when the prosecution is narrowing down that the alleged crash occurred. So it would fall in between that time frame.
Okay, so they're close. Now, can you imagine the jury listening to this without the benefit of you and I going back and asking questions of each other to understand this fully? I mean, we're talking black boxes in vehicles, iPhones, and experts, and then they call the expert, and it turns out, I don't know, is he an expert at all? Before we get to that damning cross-examination, let's just go to Shannon Burgess talking about the May 8th report that Karen complains it was given to us late. She called it an ambush outside. Play it.
Trial starts April 22nd, correct?
Correct. Generally.
No, the trial in this case, this trial, about April 22nd. After the trial starts and after witnesses, of course, are appearing, you prepare another report, correct?
Correct.
And that's your May 8th report.
Correct.
Right in the middle of this trial.
Correct.
You said on direct examination, sir, that you prepared your May 8th report on your own. Those were your words on your direct testimony, correct?
Correct.
I'm going to read the first line of your May 8th, 2025 report.
Okay.
Do you have it in front of you, sir?
I do, yes.
It starts, Dear Mr. Brennan. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
Pursuant to your request. That's a request you're referring to of Mr. Brennan, correct?
Correct.
I have completed an additional analysis concerning the above referenced matter. To formulate opinions, the following additional items were reviewed. This wasn't done on your initiative. You put in writing you did it at the request of Mr. Brennan. Which is it?
So that was on my own initiative. This is a holdover, so a copy and paste from my original report.
Okay, before we go to them ripping apart his reputation, just quickly again remind everybody what was in that report, the significance of the report before we lose our way here. Go ahead.
Sure. So the significance of the report is data from Karen Read's SUV and the time that the prosecution is pointing to the alleged crash happening. So definitely important. And, the defense has said seconds matter in this case. So those seconds just off by a little bit from before, the defense is, really upset about this.
Okay, now the report comes from Shannon Burgess, and the defense got a hold of him today. Where do we begin? His LinkedIn is not accurate. His resume is trumped up, and he's been working on his bachelor's degree for 17 years, but presents himself as some kind of an expert. So go ahead. Do we miss anything? And you can set up the soundbite.
Sure. So the defense really asked a lot of questions of this expert on his resume, which is available online. If you download it, you can look at it. It says that he has a bachelor's degree, and they went on to question him and realized that he actually doesn't have a bachelor's degree. And even one of the degrees that was listed on one of his resumes doesn't actually exist, and it was an error. So there was a lot of confusion and things that were wrong. He admitted on the stand, and he was saying this was the first time that he had heard that these things on his resume were incorrect. And, mentioned sometimes someone from the company will write the resume for them. And there's some questions about his LinkedIn page as well.
Yep. Okay, there's an old legal saying, I've covered enough trials, false in one, false in all. Expect the defense to really play up that. Go ahead and play the attack on Shannon Burgess's credentials.
Do you recall when you started pursuing a Bachelor of Science degree of any kind?
Sure, I do, around 2008.
So you started pursuing a Bachelor of Science for the first time in 2008, correct?
Correct.
If I did the math correctly, sir, you've been pursuing a Bachelor of Science degree for 17 years, correct?
That is correct.
And you have not obtained it as you sit here today.
That is correct.
And yet there are the various documents that we've seen that state that you have obtained the Bachelor of Science, correct?
Again, with errors or misinterpretation. Yes.
Errors or misinterpretation that are you stating, but you would agree those errors or misinterpretation have been in existence for some time, correct?
Yes, I'm being made aware of them now, yes.
Yeah, and they haven't been corrected for some time, correct?
Correct.
Well, there are plenty of experts in many fields who don't have bachelor's degrees and probably never attended colleges. That's not to diminish their knowledge. However, this goes to the character of the witness that they're able to tear him apart and said that you represent yourself here on this paper and you're not what you say you are. And so how could we believe what you're going to tell us today? All right, Katie, take the last word. Wrap it up for us today and what's coming up as far as you know.
So Burgess will be back on the stand tomorrow. It's probably expected he'll be crossed for a couple of hours at least. This is a short week, so there'll be no court on Thursday. There'll be court on Thursday, I'm sorry, but a half day, no court on Friday. So it'll be a short week. This is week 5, but expected to hear testimony full days Monday through Wednesday, and Burgess will be back on the stand tomorrow.
Okay, Katie Benoit at court. Folks, be sure to watch our NBC 10 WJAR YouTube page for gavel-to-gavel coverage of this, and then we're here after 5 o'clock. It's also on TV on NBC 10 News at 7, and I have it on the radio as well the next day. For now, I'm Gene Valicenti. I'll see you on the news.
The trial captivating a nation.
The defense had questions about initial evidence collected in red Solo cups.
Solo cups and stuff put in bags.
You don't know where the DNA that's on those things is coming from.
What can we expect from Cross?
A lot.
The cross-examination has been described as aggressive.
I think they have to be very strong with the cross here because they're not allowed to bring in their own expert to talk about police procedures and policies.
NBC 10 News has the latest on the retrial of Karen Read.